good morning.
Good morning.
Sorry, we're a little bit late.
Oh, no, you're fine. Mr. Maurice, he just makes me smile when he comes. Every Friday, we look forward to him. Every Friday, we look forward to those boxes.
Larry Helms and I were in the same Sunday school class at First Baptist Church, and we saw the need for that, and Larry and several other guys started this program. We all would meet on Monday at the grocery store and buy food and donate it to the people that needed to eat, and it's just grown explicitly. So we bought a warehouse. When we moved into the warehouse, we thought we will never fill this warehouse up. We did fill it up in probably 6 months. We've outgrown it, and now we are in a 12,000 square foot facility with 5 delivery trucks. We had faith that we could grow this thing probably to 50 units a week. Last week, I think we did 2,780 units. So it isn't an individual, it isn't me, it isn't anybody else. It's the man upstairs that has given us the lead.
We have grown exponentially just since I've been here in 2018. That's kind of twofold. It's very sad to me that the need just keeps increasing. You would think it would get better, but it also makes me feel good that we're here and we can meet that need. I know there's a lot of nonprofits out there serving the community, but I feel like we're different. I see it in our volunteers, I see it in our board. I've never worked somewhere like this. I can't describe it. Personally, I think it's different because God has his hand on this ministry. 100%. I see it all the time. One of my favorite scriptures is Galatians 6:9, where it talks about let us not grow weary in doing good. One of our volunteers actually gave me a little makeup bag, and that was a scripture on it. And she had no idea that was one of my favorite scriptures. That was another little reminder that God is here all throughout this building.
I have never missed a meal in my entire life. And to know that there are folks in my community that struggle to feed themselves and their families is a reason to get out of bed in the morning and write grants, seek additional funds so that we can buy those groceries, put gas in our trucks, and deliver to their homes so that they can be more healthy and lead better quality lives because of a small act such as a warm, nourishing meal.
We have 5 employees doing the work of probably 20 to 25 people. We couldn't do it without them. We couldn't do it without our 300 plus volunteers. We couldn't do it without all this coming together.
When a volunteer picks up to deliver, that box could have 10 or 12 different bags in it. That could have been 10 or 12 different groups of volunteers that never are in here at the same time. They don't see each other, but that's how many different groups are actually going with that home delivery.
I had the blessing of being here with a group from my church. We packed hundreds of bags for various schools throughout Union County. And when we finished, I got in the car and I started tearing up. And Monty said, "What's wrong?" And I said, the impact of what we just did, my heart just got that big.
After we packed, we became aware of a need to deliver the food both to schools and individual homes. And so we volunteered to do those routes. And the time since then, we've delivered to various schools in Union County and to homes of people in need of food throughout the county.
From meeting Monty and Denise, they text me about certain things and that I may need help with or they can possibly help with. I actually text them when I need help with things. I've benefited a lot from meeting them. Just in general, they're wonderful people. I have been struggling for a while now because I live from check to check. I was given a referral to Food for Families. At first I was embarrassed. I was like, no, I'm not doing this. And then it came to the point where I couldn't afford not to have your help. Having help from Food for Families and the deliveries, every single aspect of y'all's program has helped me 1,000,000%.
I got started with Food for Families through my church, Elevation Church in Charlotte. We had a Love Week. To come in and see the operation, see people's willingness to serve the community was pretty impressive to me. And it's purely volunteer driven. So if volunteers do not provide the time and the opportunity for get these packages of food packed every week, it couldn't happen.
I got connected to Food for Families through Hartford Monroe with Ginger Wally, a good friend of the family. You know, they provide things that you may need, lots of love, because you never know what somebody's going through. And when Mr. Maurice and Mr. Gary comes, you know, they ask those questions. How are you doing today? How's your day going?
I always felt if we spend more time loving one another and praying for one another, then our lives would be enhanced.
I was going through a process of some repairs with my home, and that one day it had rained so bad to the point where the porch was broken up and hadn't rotted. Mr. Maurice came that day. He said, you know what? He said, this is a safety hazard. He said, I'm going to talk to someone and see what I can do. He said, and I'll get back to you.
So I took it upon myself to get those boards replaced for her. And since those days, that's those very days, we've come very close because she saw that I cared about her safety and her family and took action.
He took in my words and he provided for me and my 3 kids. And I needed that person to be there to actually understand what I was going through, not somebody that was going to criticize me for being able to reach out to ask somebody for help. I was at a crisis, about to lose my place, didn't have food to provide for my kids, and I was afraid to ask family for help. So what I did, I reached out to Miss Ginger because I know that Miss Ginger is like a mom to me. She said, if I send you this form, can you send it right back to me? And when she did send that form back to me, in less than 3 days, I got a call back from Mr. Maurice saying, on Friday, I would be there at 11, no later than 11:30 to deliver your box. Every morning I get up and I thank God for a roof over my head, food that I didn't have at once, clothes and stuff that the kids didn't have, but God favored us.
Absolutely. He'll continue to favor you. Maybe one day in time, you'll be able to come up to Food for Family and pack bags with food for others. That's where the blessing comes from too, right? Being served, serving others, helping others, and that whole circle of love and care in our lives. The needs these families have are not far removed from any need that we and I may have if our circumstances change. So I'm aware of that context, that we are not far from them. And so by serving them, I am also giving my family the opportunity to know that we care about them.
The need is there and it keeps growing. And we want to be able to meet that need. And to meet that need, it takes volunteers, it takes financial donations. Food is expensive. This is not a political statement, but if you've been to the grocery store, you know how much food is. And most of our families, they're working families. They just don't make enough to make ends meet. And that's why we're here.
My motto is, Food for Families is the hand and feet of Jesus. It's the hands of those that pack the food and those that work in the warehouse too, and the hands and feet of those that deliver.
I drive up from Charleston every week to do this and love it. This is my passion. I hope we feed 10,000 people. I'm just waiting to see the next challenge, and I know we'll meet it. I just don't know what that challenge is, but it's not going to scare us.